Last year to right now, the CPI index, Consumer Price Index, increased by 9.1%. So obviously that's way higher than we would like to see it, 9.1% an increase in inflation. Gas prices are up just under 60% from 1 year ago to now. So you've got the national average at about $4.63 a gallon. Here in Missouri, we're paying about $4.37 a gallon. So it makes it hard for retirees and people living on a budget when the increase is 9.1%. Our pay is not increasing at 9.1%, so it's a difficult time.
So how do we combat against something?
Yeah, so there's several different things to deal with combating the 9.1% inflation, gas being up by 60%. I've got 4 things that I really would like for people to focus on. Number 1 is comparison shop. So one of the things that's going on right now is something called shrinkflation. Seems like kind of a funny term, but what competitors are doing in the industry, whether you're going to the grocery store or wherever, they're leaving their prices the same, but making the quantity inside the package smaller. So where there may have been 60 items, there's now 50. There may have been 40, there's now 30. So make sure that you're comparison shopping. If you're buying something online, maybe going on Amazon or whatever your favorite site is, make sure that you're reading about the quantity that's involved, because either the price is going up or it's staying the same and they maybe are giving you less quality. Also compare prices when it comes to things like your monthly reoccurring expenses like internet or cable television or anything like that. Things are very competitive right now, so you might call a competitor and say, hey, here's what I'm paying. You know, what would you be willing to offer as a monthly price on your service, and see what's there. So number 1, comparison cost. Other thing is adjusting your spending. Now, that's not really fun for any of us to do. No one likes to cut back in cost, but we have to think about how much prices have gone up. So we have to look at where could I save money. So I'll give an example. I own 2 different properties, and whenever I got cable television at both places, I noticed that my bill jumped up on a credit card statement, and I thought, why is it so much higher? And I forgot there was that original 12-month period where they gave me the original opportunity to jump in at $99 a month, and it jumped to $160. Well, when I noticed that, I thought, okay, I'm going to call a competitor, find out what can happen there. And I was able to lower my bill by $35 a month on each bill, $70 a month. So make sure that you're comparison shopping, you're cutting back budgets, expensive items that maybe you don't need. For instance, going out to eat. It's nice to go out and spend $70 or $80 on a meal and enjoy yourself. But a $20 pizza or maybe sandwiches a couple of nights a week instead of that, it's a way to cut cost when it maybe isn't something we necessarily have to be doing. So look at areas where we can cut our costs. That's an important thing during this time. Third thing would be to lower your personal debt. And I know we've talked about this before, but debt's a big deal. And so there's 2 different ways to attack debt. One is called the snowball method. And for a lot of people, this is the way they need to start, because in the snowball method, you take your smallest item of debt, you know that it's not going to be overwhelming, and you tackle it and pay it off. Then you move to the next larger item, and then the next, and then the next, and you let it snowball up to your larger expense. I actually like what's called the Avalanche Method. I prefer it, and the Avalanche Method is the reverse. It's starting at the top, but not with your biggest number of debt. It's your highest percentage that you're paying in interest. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have $10,000 on a credit card, but you owe $150,000 on your home. A lot of people will say, well, we need to attack that $150,000 first. Not necessarily so. The Avalanche Method, think about it. In regard to your home loan, you may have locked in a 3 or 3.2% rate, especially if you did it during these low historic times before interest started to rise. But your credit card may be 18, 19, 20% in interest. So it makes a whole lot more sense to pay off something with 18 to 20% interest instead of something that's 3 or 4%. And on your home, you also get a tax deduction for having that mortgage interest there. So be wise about the way you pay things off. But you've got to lower your debt during this time. Okay, and then the 4th thing would be to stay invested. One of the things that people think during a time of great inflation, when the dollar's not going as far as it normally would be to say, well, I'm not going to contribute to my 401k, or I'm going to back it down from 5% to 3%. I just can't afford to do that. Well, you can't afford not to. There's all types of research that shows delaying 6 months or a year, how that has a compound effect on your future retirement. So make sure that you're staying invested, that you stay very routine. Put it on autopilot. Maybe have it deducted from an account if it's going to like an IRA or a Roth, or certainly having payroll deduction on a 401k to make sure that you're not stopping your contributions during this time.